Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalo Bhakti Sadma Bando Mui Sabodana Mate Bando Mui Sabodana Mate Yahara Prasade Bhai E Baba Thoriya Jai Yahara Prasade Bhai E Baba Thoriya Jai Krishna Prapti Hoya Jaha Hoite Krishna Prapti Hoya Jaha Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitite Koriya Akya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitite Koriya Akya Arana Kore Hamane Asha Arana Kore Hamane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rathi Aise Utama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rathi Aise Utama Gati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Chakudana delo je janme janme Prabhu se Chakudana delo je janme janme Prabhu se Dibya gyan hriday prakasito Dibya Gyana Hriday Prakasito Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasa Jate Prema bhakti jaha hoite abhijya vinas jate. Vede gaja hara charito. Vede gaya jahara charito. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Lokanath Lokera Jivana. Lokanath Lokera Jivana. Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha More Pada Chaya. Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha More Pada Chaya. Ebe Jaskushuk Tribhuvana. Ebe Jasagushuk Tribhuvana. Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha More Pada Chaya. Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha More Pada Chaya. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Saminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pastyacha Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Srila Haridas Thakur ki
Jai.
Prabhu Sibaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Jamuna Mai ki Tulsi Devi ki Bhakti Devi ki Samaveda Bhaktavrinda ki Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the blessing of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus wand. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him
Nobody's there. I'll find someone because someone is there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare. So on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON Stoke, I welcome you all to one of our very special Sunday feast program. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And the reason it is very special is that today we are going to have the first ever Rathayatra in Stoke. Haribol. So before we go out on the street with the main Rathayatra, this year we'll be doing an internal Rathayatra, and we'll be giving our children the opportunity to do the Rathayatra. So as you can see here, Jagannath has already come. Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Swami ki. And Jagannath is so nicely decorated here by our devotees and is ready to be pulled in his chariot in our temple. So before we do that, we have a very golden opportunity to hear what is Jagannath Rathayatra, why we should celebrate, and what are the benefits, and know more about what is Jagannath Rathayatra. So we have His Grace, Tribhangananda Prabhu ki. Of course, Jagannath Prabhu has been doing our children's program in our temple for since we started children's program. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for all your help and your compassion on all of us here. So may I request you to please take the seat and enlighten us into Jagannath Rathayatra. Hare Krishna.
start his classes by singing Jai Radha Madhava. It's a very nice song. And doesn't go all wibbly wobbly. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for letting me come and actually they brought me, that's the fact. Prabhupada, he brought the Srimad Bhagavatam to the West, but Prabhupada, he explained that actually I accompanied Srimad Bhagavatam to the West because the Lord, he wants to come. And he wants to enter everyone's lives and everyone's hearts and make everyone very happy. So this Rathayatra is a very nice opportunity. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Giribharadhari Gopi Jana Ballava Giribharadhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Giribharadhari Gopi Jana Ballava Giribharadhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Giribharadhari
Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhare. Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astotara Satashishimad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyamakunda, Radhakunda, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki, Jamuna Mai Ki, Tulsi Devi Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharne Nevisesha Sunyavadi Pastyachate Shatarne. Oh, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hari Bol. You know what is the meaning of a flower? It's Krishna's smile, actually. This is the fact. Krishna, he is pervading everything, but he becomes visible in so many ways. But every time we see a flower, we can understand this is Krishna's beautiful smile, and he's inviting us to return to his wonderful abode. This is the whole meaning of this Hare Krishna movement. This is what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very kindly came to try to give us our understanding. And through the disciplic succession, the succession of spiritual masters who Lord Chaitanya personally instructed, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, on the understanding how to appreciate Krishna, how to understand Krishna, how to understand what we are, how to understand what is our eternal relationship with Krishna, how to stop misidentifying with this lump of flesh which we call our temporary bodies. Because as we can all appreciate, we started off with young bodies, but before that we started off with just a body, an embryo inside of the womb. And before that we started off with a tiny body the size of a pea. And before that we started as our bodies started off as a microscopic particle injected into the womb of the mother. And inside that microscopic particle is the living being, the jiva. And then we get a body and it grows into these things. So these bodies are actually covering over this tiny little jiva who is inside the body. How big? Take the tip of one of the hairs. You've seen a hair lying on the floor or in the bath or in the shower. You take the tip of one of those and you cut it into 100 pieces. Just the very tip into 100 pieces. And you take one of those and again you cut it into 100 pieces. That is the size of the jiva soul, and that's how it fits within the semen of the father injected into the womb of the mother. In every species of life, we've all been there and done that, because in each life we forget about all the previous lives. Can anyone remember all their previous lives? Can anyone remember when we were little children or inside the mother's womb? Our memories are vanquished by being forced out of the mother's womb. And sometimes the living being actually, under that pressure, nearly dies. And his memory is erased of everything he was able to remember and understand when he was inside the womb and praying, I don't want to come out again and fall into the influence of Maya and again be forgetful of my spiritual identity. So sometimes he nearly dies, and sometimes he does die coming out of the womb. We see this. This is a very dangerous situation to take birth in the material world. But after having traveled through 8,400,000 species of life, here we are in the human form of life, forgetting everything that has gone before. And now we have the chance, by the grace of the spiritual master, we have the chance to get what is the most important gift of the spiritual master, which is Dibya Gyan, transcendental knowledge, knowledge of the soul, knowledge of our eternal existence, knowledge of our eternal relationship with Krishna. And so the Lord appears in so many incarnations to invite the living being back home. But no incarnation is as merciful as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is so kind, he came with his brother Nityananda Prabhu. Here we can see them dancing at the Rathayatra festival in great ecstatic love. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's coming for these two purposes. He's coming for one purpose, to make it easy to get the topmost jewel of benefit in this world, which is love of Krishna, pure love of Krishna. That doesn't come very easily. Only Krishna himself can give pure love of Krishna. Why? Because as we see in Vrindavan, how the Lord, he becomes controlled by the love of his devotees. So he doesn't give that away very easily. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's manifesting unlimited universes and maintaining all the living beings in all the universes, in every species of life. Otherwise, how did we get this far if we weren't being maintained by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord? This is a fact. But he comes very kindly to deliver the topmost benediction, and that is free of charge, pure love of Krishna. So by this nice process of chanting and dancing, and later taking prasadam, this is always a good one, isn't it? So this nice process is very easy. Lord Chaitanya, he made it very easy. But what is his mood? It's very helpful to understand, because actually we're talking today also about the Rathayatra festival. And it's a very special festival. Lord Chaitanya used to observe this festival with his devotees. And what is the mood of Lord Chaitanya in observing Rathayatra? Is we need to understand Krishna's appearance in this world, that he comes once in a day of Brahma personally. not simply sending his avatars or servants, but coming, Krishna, he comes himself personally. As the Srimad Bhagavatam explains, there are so many incarnations of the Lord. Ete chamsa kala pumsa, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That there are so many incarnations of the Lord. Anybody's been to the seaside, you know there are so many waves on the ocean. Can you count them? There are more incarnations of the Lord than there are waves on the ocean. He comes in so many forms. And guess what? We're all little particles of Krishna, little tiny expansions of Krishna. But Krishna, as many jivas as there are in the material world, in each planet, in each species of life, in each country, wherever the jivas are, there are as many incarnations of Krishna because he's coming as the Paramatma, the super soul, accompanying every jiva in their heart. Yes, that's right. There are two of us inside the body. There's me and there's Krishna, and that's the same goes for every living being. Krishna is so kind that he's personally coming to witness all our desires and activities, and otherwise how our karma is arranged that we get the consequences of our activities. Because Krishna is there witnessing in our hearts and giving us advice, giving us intelligence to pursue our desired goals and activities. But Lord Chaitanya is a special case, because in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate, he is giving free of charge pure love of Krishna, even up to the standard of the conjugal love of the damsels of Vrindavan. You can see here Krishna and Balaram, they're playing their flutes coming back from the pasturing grounds with the cows and the calves. And the cowherd damsels, they have that topmost relationship with Krishna of conjugal love. They actually love Krishna. Not because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which he is, but because they love Krishna. And they want to please Krishna. And they want to be with Krishna and dance with Krishna and play with Krishna. All the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they have love for Krishna. It doesn't matter that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead to them. They just want Krishna, and they want to love Krishna, and hear about Krishna, and see Krishna, and play with Krishna, and dance with Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya, he is giving that facility. But the qualification to be with Krishna is to have pure, unmixed love for Krishna. And that is what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving. So, but what is his internal reason for coming to the world? He's got this external reason. He wants to give everyone love of Krishna, which he hasn't given for a very long time, because he himself only comes once in a day of Brahma, which is every 4,300 million years. That's quite a long time to wait. But Lord Chaitanya, he has his special reason to come, that he is the supreme enjoyer. He enjoys. God, he's got nothing to do. We all have to work in this material world. Just like you might see the boss of a big company, he hasn't got to run the business, he's out playing golf somewhere. But actually he's enjoying life. He doesn't have the duties to perform. But still he has so many duties. When he gets home, he has to take care of his wife and his children and family and so many affairs. Even he delegates to so many others. But still he has duties to perform. But Krishna, he has no duties to perform, because he is the Supreme Lord, the enjoyer, and everyone else is actually his servant. We have to serve so many people, so many things in this material world. No one can claim they're not a servant, because if nothing else, if we're not servant of our children, Is it not? Any mother, father knows your full-time job, serving the children. From the moment they're conceived, you've got to look after them. What to speak of when they grow up and get into all sorts of mischief and so many things, isn't it? They have to look after you. But Krishna, he considers that all the living beings are his parts and parcels. And so he's taking care of all of us, providing all the necessities of life. Where does the rain come from? How do we get the rain? How do we get the sunshine? How do we get the crops growing out of the ground? How do we get the water falling out of the sky? That is Krishna's nice, wonderful arrangement. But people think, oh, it's just happening by chance. Just like the owl. The owl, he can't see the sunshine. He closes his eyes, he likes to come out at night. But actually he's missing the chance of the sunshine. No, I don't want to see the sun. So people are ignorant of their relationship, of our relationship with Krishna, who is providing everything. Everything. He's even providing this planet for us to walk on and live on, and he's keeping it. Just like anybody here ever seen rocks floating in the air? You ever seen rocks floating in the air? Well, I got news for you. You're sitting on one. It's called planet Earth, right? It's a fact. And so many planets just nicely happen to be floating in the air, and the rain happens to be, all that water happens to be floating in the air. No, there can't be a God. There can't be anyone in control of these things. But actually, Krishna, his internal reasons for coming is he is controlled by the love of his devotees. And the topmost of all devotees is Srimati Radharani. She is uniquely qualified to satisfy Krishna, to satisfy all Krishna's desires. Krishna doesn't require anyone else. But actually Srimati Radharani, she's the topmost devotee. Now how do we understand what is that relationship? Because Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. He's enjoying pleasure more than anyone. But Srimati Radharani, by her love of Krishna, is enjoying, by serving Krishna, 10 million times more than Krishna. How about that? Why? Because she's experiencing loving service to Krishna. So this is the mood of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's coming because he wants to taste that sweet love of himself that Srimati Radharani is experiencing. He wants to experience that too. And so he comes in the mood with he's assumed the color and complexion of golden color of Srimati Radharani in order to taste the sweetness of loving Krishna. And so you see here, he's dancing at the Rathayatra festival with his associates who are all coming to assist him in his pastimes. Just like when Krishna comes in Vrindavan, his devotees come too to assist him in his pastimes. So when he comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the devotees come to assist him in that pastime. And that pastime is distributing love of Krishna, and the most confidential devotees are assisting him in tasting the loving mood of service to Krishna. So this is very sweet, and you can see that this Rathayatra festival is simply a joyful experience. Simply glorifying the Lord, serving the Lord, remembering the Lord. So what is the meaning of this Rathayatra festival? Actually, Prabhupada described it's a very feelings festival. And how is that? Because for those of you who are aware of the pastimes of the Lord in Vrindavan, that Krishna is giving pleasure. We sing this song, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Balava Giri Bharadhari, Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Krishna, he is enjoying pastimes in Vrindavan, and he's giving so much pleasure to all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Yasoda, Mai, Nanda Maharaj, all the cowherd boys, all the cowherd girls, all the plants and creepers and trees and bushes and flowers, and the bees who are busy tasting the aroma and the nectar of Krishna's garland. Everyone is simply deriving so much pleasure from satisfying Krishna. And the cowherd boys, for example, they're assisting Krishna by helping take care of the cows and the calves in the pasturing grounds. So many cows, actually. Vrindavan is such a wonderful place. How many cows did Manda Maharaj have? Something like 100,000 cows? 900,000 cows. And so there are a lot of devotees to assist Krishna in taking care of all these cows and calves. And they're serving Krishna. This is their mood. Let's please Krishna. And the cows, they want to please Krishna because they're also living beings, loving devotees of Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya, he is performing this Leela of serving and pleasing the Supreme Lord. And Jagannath, he is the same Krishna, but he has a very different mood also, in some ways. Jagannath, what is the meaning? Jagat means the universe, and Nath means the Lord, actually. So if there's no one in charge, how things can go on? There must be someone in charge. If there's no one in charge of the country, how will it go on nicely with all the functions? And if there's no one nicely in charge of the universe, how will it go on with all the functions to make it work? It's very simple, actually. It's only plain obvious, but our eyes are so much covered that we don't appreciate how things are going on. Just like all the departments, the education department, the prison department, the water department, the electricity departments, so many departments, the roads department, otherwise how will we all get here if the roads are all snarled up? Unless there's some management system. But behind every management system there has to be a manager to keep it running and keeping it working. So it's a very simple principle that there is someone in charge. Actually, the Greek word you may have heard people talk about, at least in the hippie days, they used to talk about, wow, that's cosmic. But actually the word cosmos is a Greek word describing the whole firmament. And the meaning of that Greek word is very nicely ordered. So everything is very nicely ordered. The seasons come and go, the plants are growing, the planets are moving, the rain is coming, the sun is coming, the crops are growing. Everything is very nicely ordered, and everything, you can tell, what day it's going to be, and when the summer solstice is going to be, and when the winter's coming, and you know that it's going to be the sun's going down at a particular time, and that the sun's going to come up. And you can set your watches by it, because it's all very nicely managed and very nicely ordered. But Lord Chaitanya's mood is to experience the mood of Radharani, and that is loving service to Krishna. He wants to taste that. And so his pastime is simply to glorify Krishna and appreciate Krishna and do one very special thing, which is the means by which everybody can get this love of Krishna, which is this chanting of the holy names of Krishna. It's so easy. Lord Chaitanya has made it so easily available. Just simply calling out that for that person who we've forgotten for so long in this world, calling out, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is it that difficult? It's so simple. It's so sublime. You know, people used to think if you have a medicine that tastes good, it can't be very useful medicine. It has to taste bad. Otherwise, it's not going to do you any good. But this is medicine that actually is really good. It tastes sweet, so we should take more of it and get thoroughly rectified from our diseased condition of forgetfulness of who we are and misidentifying with the body. That is another disease. What is that disease? That is called bhavarog, skin disease. Although I'm an eternal spirit soul, somehow I've identified with this bag of skin and bone. And I look in the mirror and I look at the family pictures and I see that, wait a minute, this body which I thought was me keeps changing. But I'm still the same person, but my body keeps changing. And guess what? At the end of life, it's going to change again. We have to leave this one and go for another one. So Lord Chaitanya, his principle is to abolish reincarnation. Actually, that's what he wants to do. He wants to stop people having to take birth again and again in the material world and experience birth very painful. Oh, isn't he sweet? But look at all the trouble he had to go through in the womb for 9 months. You know, really tough. And then, what's the first thing that the child does when he takes birth? Ah! Not this planet again. Oh no. But then it doesn't end there. The body has to go through so many changes, the teething, the growing pains. Nobody understands what he's trying to say. And they think, okay, he's got some pain, and the mother tries to give him some milk to pacify him. But nobody can understand what he's actually going through because he can't communicate and express himself. And then he has to go to school. He has to associate with so many friends and enemies, and he has to work so hard and suffer for so many exams, study for so many years. What a tapasya, what an austerity. You know about this. If you've been to school and college and university and then studying for different degrees and further education, with the idea that simply working hard is going to make me happy. But actually just working hard isn't happiness. Happiness is being able to love the most wonderful person, an exchange of love. This is actual happiness. This is eternal happiness. But because we are misidentified with these temporary bodies, we've become under the influence of this material nature and so many generations of forefathers, and think that simply working hard is going to make us happy. But does it? Simply working hard, does that make anyone happy? And if you think that's happiness, how long does it last? And how long can you keep working in this body before it becomes old and decrepit and things start failing? The digestion stops working, or the eyesight doesn't work so well, and the hearing doesn't work so well. And the legs don't work so well. How many flights of stairs can you climb up? I experience all this. I have to climb up 5 flights of stairs when I go home. It's tough, trust me. And that's before you even have to carry all the groceries and all the shopping and equipment up and down the flights of stairs. I tell you, it's nothing to look forward to, or is it? You want to get old? When you're young, you can't wait to grow up. But when you're older, trust me, you're thinking, what's going to happen next? I'm going to have to leave my body. Under what circumstances am I going to have to leave the body? I don't know what circumstances it's going to be, but I definitely have to go. Can you argue? That no, wait, I've still got more plans to perform. I've got plenty to do here in this world. I haven't finished yet. But, it doesn't work like that. When you got to go, you got to go. And whether we want to or not, we get physically removed from this body. And there's no argument. We won't go into how that happens just yet. But Lord Chaitanya, his plan is to promote love of Krishna and to experience himself the love of his devotees, because that is the sweetest pleasure. Here's an example. Krishna has so many nice incarnations in this world. Why do they come here? They come to try to help people hear about Krishna. But what is their mood? Although they're actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead themselves, they come to perform these activities just like Mahavishnu. He's manifesting billions of universes. That's his pastime. And he's exhaling them from his body and maintaining them by expanding inside each universe to make all the arrangements so they can go on nicely. But why is Lord Mahavishnu doing that? He's doing that as his service to Krishna, because the pleasure of being the Godhead is not as great as the pleasure of being engaged in the service of the Supreme Godhead. So this is what the spiritual master comes to teach, that actually the real business of life is not simply service to the family or the community or the planet or just the senses of the body, but actually, because the nature of the soul is service, it's service, eternal service to the eternal Supreme Person. And this is what the Lord wants to teach. This is what the spiritual master wants to teach. He wants to give that Divya Gyan. That is transcendental knowledge. Knowledge not obtained by studying anything within the material world, but knowledge descending from the spiritual world to help us understand what we are, why we are, where we're from, where we're going, and how to get there. And how not to keep, again and again, we have to kick this habit of taking birth again and again in the material world. Birth, old age, disease, and death. Every time, it always ends the same way. Is it not? So Lord Chaitanya's principle is to teach us how to become eternally happy and how to kick the habit of repeated birth and death. How about that? Very nice thing. So actually, the process is threefold. First of all, to understand all these things properly, we have to purify our senses. So first thing is purification. And then the second thing is rectification. How to actually clear up our diseased misunderstandings and attitude, and rectify our attitude that instead of serving the items of this world, instead transfer our loving service to Krishna. That is turning around. It's actually creating a revolution. You know, in France, they have so many revolutions. They're always revolting in so many ways. But actually, the principle is we have to turn around our misguided sense of what we are to our real sense of what we are, that we're eternally related to Krishna. And our real service is meant for loving service to Krishna. And this is actually the real nature of the soul. Why are we looking for happiness? Because it's our nature. It's not the nature of the bag of bones and stool and urine and pus and blood and mucus and eyeballs and brains and sinews that make up this body, that's not happiness, because that's destined to become the stool of worms or ashes, is it not? Can anybody deny what is the destiny of this body? It's going to be finished. You know, when the soul leaves the body, what do? You bury it or burn it, because it becomes putrid, and all the worms and coming out of the body, they start chomping on it and eating it. Actually, it doesn't have a good future, but the real person inside the body is actually a loving servant of Krishna. So, re-engaging, rectifying our diseased mentality, and turning back to loving service to Krishna. But in order to do that, first we have to purify our intelligence and our senses by engaging them in the service of Krishna. And it's not difficult, because it starts with the ears, these flappy bits, and it starts with this other flappy bit, the tongue, by hearing about Krishna, hearing the science of Krishna, and vibrating the sound vibration. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Speaking about Krishna, what we've heard and understood about Krishna from his representative, we then re-vibrate that transcendental sound. This is the purifying process for purifying our misguided intelligence. So first purification, then rectification, and then repatriation. Go back to where you came from. Go back home. You know, people talk about illegal aliens. They want to get rid of the immigration in so many ways. But actually, we don't, any of us belong here. We need to go back home where we belong. So purification, rectification, repatriation. Very simple things. That's the whole process of Krishna consciousness. So Rathayatra, what is that? Lord Jagannath. Shall I tell you a story? Would you like to hear a story about Lord Jagannath? Okay. Long, long ago on this planet, there was a great king called King Indrajumna. And he wanted to serve the Lord. He was a great king, and so of course he was setting the example by his own activities and making sure that the people in his kingdom were also nicely devoted, like him, to serving the Supreme Lord. And then one day into his court came an elderly Brahmin. And this Brahmin, he described a beautiful deity that existed. And he was the most beautiful deity in the whole world. He was called Nilamadeva. And this deity of Nilamadeva, who was so beautiful that anyone who saw this beautiful deity would immediately fall in love with him and want to serve him and please him for the rest of their days. So when King Indrajumna heard about this, he thought, where is this deity? I must go and find him. I must find this deity. I want to see this beautiful Lord so that I can devote my life to him. So, but the Brahmin had gone, and he was thinking, where is this deity, Nilamadeva? So he sent out his confidential servants and assistants and Brahmins to explore the whole land to try to find out where is Nilamadeva. So one of the different servants, they went here and there all over the place trying to find Nilamadeva. But all except one, they came back without any knowledge of where is Nilamadeva. But one Brahmin, he came across this nice village. And there, he thought, this is such a lovely place. And he saw one beautiful daughter there, of a nice king of the village. And you know how life works. He fell in love with her. And so he decided to stay there. And, you know, he married this beautiful young daughter. But his father, her father, he used to do something rather odd. He would go out at night, very mysteriously. And when he would come back in the morning, he would be very happy, and he would smell beautiful. Actually, he'd smell fabulous. And what was the name of this servant? Anyone remember? Anyway, but he saw that his father-in-law would come back, and he was smelling really gorgeously. And I think, wow, what is he doing every night? Where is he going? And so he asked his wife, he said, where is your father going? And she said, it's a secret. I'm sorry, I can't tell you. Because it's a secret. So finally, he convinced her. And she said, well, actually, it's such a secret, but actually he's just going to see Nilamadeva. And this servant of the king, he thought, wait a minute, I came on a mission, and you say your father is worshipping Nilamadeva? Please, let's go and see him. Please ask your father, let me go with him, and we can see Nilamadeva. Because the king, seriously, he wants to worship Nilamadeva. So, the king, Vishvavasu, he refused to take the king's servant, this Brahmin, with him. He said, no, it's not possible. You're not taking him away. You know, he's my deity, and he's staying here, so you can't come. But finally, he relented, and he said, all right, I'll take you, but I have to blindfold you, so that you can't see. But his wife was very intelligent, and she gave him a bag of mustard seeds, which he could secretly drop along the way, so that one day, when the plants grew, he'd be able to find the way to find Nilamadeva himself. So, King Vishvavasu, the king of... Actually, this was an interesting tribe where they were living in the village. They're called the Shabaras. And that is a tribe of pig farmers, actually. They were herding pigs, looking after pigs. But still, King Vishvavasu, he was doing this very strange thing. So finally, he took the servant of the king with him. And when he got there, he took the servant's blindfold off. And there he saw this beautiful deity, the most exquisite deity of Krishna that nobody had ever seen. And he saw that there were incredible, opulent fruits and flowers and vegetables. And he's saying, where do all these ones come from? You're a village, you're simply herding pigs. How do you get these most incredible flowers and fruits and vegetables? Where do they come from? So the king Vishvavasu explained, well, actually, the demigods, they come here every night, and they bring these things from the heavenly planets. That's why they're so extraordinary. And anyway, the whole thing was then revealed to the king's servant. I'm just trying to remember all the details as I heard this from His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, who explained this nice story. So anyway, he was blindfolded again, the servant was taken back, and he thought, I have to go and find Nilamadeva, because the king has sent me on this mission. So he discovered, and finally, King Vishvavasu, he gave one nice flower garland of celestial flowers that never withered or died or lost their beautiful fragrance. He gave this to the king's servant. And so the king's servant, he decided, now I must go and find my lord, King Indradyumna. And so he went home, back to King Indradyumna's kingdom. And as soon as King Indradyumna saw this beautiful flower garland, he could immediately understand, oh, he's found Nilamadhava. And so King Indradyumna, he said, right, we're finished here. Everybody should pack up all their possessions, all the Kshatriyas, all the Brahmins, all the Vaishyas, all the Shudras. We should all go now and go and find Nilamadhava. And so we'll give up the kingdom and we'll go and find Nilamadhava. Have we lost sound? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So anyway, it's kind of a long story, but we'll try and explain how this goes. So King Indradyumna and all the citizens, they packed up all their possessions and they went off to find Nilamadhava. And they traveled for many, many days. And on the way, just when they were getting close, actually there was a big sandstorm. And the sandstorm was so big and so great that the whole landscape was changed. And they could no longer find where was Nilamadhava. So this was very distressing for King Indradyumna. And he was thinking, oh, this is so bad. How will I ever see the Lord in this beautiful form? I should give up my life because this pain of not being able to see the Lord is too much. And at that moment, who should come on the scene but Narada Muni? Now Narada Muni, he's a very special, great devotee of the Lord. And he pacified King Indradyumna and he said, don't worry, we will find him. We'll carry on tomorrow, we'll go and find him. So he said, please don't give up your life, it's okay. You're going to find the Lord. So they carried on searching and searching, and eventually they came to this place by the seaside. And while they were there, some of the servants of the king came back and brought the king some news. My dear Lord, my dear king, please, you must come down to the ocean and see. The most beautiful thing is there. And they were, because actually that night, the king had had a dream. And in his dream, he saw the Lord of the universe. And one hair had fallen from his head and went into the ocean. This is a very unusual dream. And he asked Narada Muni, what is the meaning of this dream? But when they got down to the seaside, they saw this most beautiful, giant wooden log. And it had 4 branches. And it was so beautiful. Everyone was completely amazed to see this beautiful thing. And Narada Muni said to the king, do you remember your dream? This is very special. Nilamadhava, he's disappeared and we can't find him. But you should carve this beautiful wooden log into a new deity of Nilamadhava. So the king, he agreed, and he sent for the stapatis, the sculptors who make the deities. They have to be very specially trained. And so they all came, they were summoned from all over the place to come and try and carve this wooden log into a deity of Nilamadhava. But every time they tried to chip, 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 ching, 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 cut the wood into the deity, their tools broke. They couldn't do it. They couldn't carve the deity. And so the king was in great distress. what to do now? How will I ever get this deity of Nilamadhava? So then one very special elderly Brahmin sculptor, he came on the scene and he said, I can carve the deity for you, but there is a condition. And the condition is that I need to be kept undisturbed in a room so I can work in total peace, and nobody should come in the room and disturb me, because if they do, I will immediately leave. So the king agreed, yes, please, you can have a special room here, we'll make a nice place for you, and we'll lock the door, and no one can come in and cause any upset. And we'll wait until you finish the deity. So they would wait, and they would hear ching, 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 as the sculptor, he was carving this deity behind locked doors where nobody could see. And then after some days, because they'd come every day and listen at the door, and they could hear the ching, 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 ching of the carving going on. And then one day, the sound stopped, and they're wondering what's happening. And they waited for some days, but still no sound was coming. So the king, he asked his wife, he said, what should we do here now? And should we go in and see what's happening? Because there must be some problem. And with the agreement of his wife, they unlocked the door and entered the room, only to find these 3 unfinished wooden forms. And the king, he was heartbroken. He said, oh no, because the sculptor had disappeared. There was no sign of him, he'd gone. And there are just these 3 unfinished wooden forms there. And the king is saying, where is Nilamadhava? What to do now? He was in so much distress. But Narada Muni told him, actually, these are not ordinary forms. They're very special forms. And actually you can worship these forms. And these forms are actually Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra. And in this way, the Lord appeared in these beautiful forms, and King Indrajumna, he was very, very happy because finally he got to worship these beautiful forms, as you can see them here, of Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra. Now there's another backstory to this, because Narada Muni, he gets around in so many different pastimes. How did these forms come to this world? And it's a very interesting story, because you know, when Krishna was in Vrindavan, after some years of giving so much pleasure to his devotees, Akrura, he came to Vrindavan on a mission from Kamsa. Because you know that Krishna is before he was even born, his mother was married to Kamsa, was married to Vasudeva, and Kamsa was riding their chariot. Kamsa, he was the cruelest king of the entire Bhoja dynasty, and he was very powerful, and he'd made alliances with so many demons. You know, politics, you make alliances with the other strong men, so you become more and more powerful. So Kamsa, he'd become the most powerful, and very, very dangerous, actually, very, very powerful. But on the wedding day of his sister, Devaki, he was driving Devaki and Vasudev's chariot. And he was very happy, riding the chariot. But then this voice came from the sky, that, Kamsa, you are such a fool. Don't you know that the 8th child of your sister will kill you? So this was a very big shock to Kamsa. And because he was such a demon and so unfortunate, he immediately took out his sword and he grabbed the hair of his sister Devaki and he was ready to kill her. But Vasudeva, he pleaded with Kamsa, please, please, my dear Kamsa, you're not to be killed by Devaki. You have no fear from her. It's the 8th child. And he explained the whole philosophical science of the soul, of how we have to change our bodies, and why you should be so afraid of death. But none of these philosophical points could convince Kamsa. But Vasudeva, who was known for his word of honor, he promised Kamsa that when my children are born, I shall deliver them all to you, and you can do with them as you feel fit. But please, for now, spare the life of your sister. So Kamsa, he knew the value of Vasudeva's word of honor, and this was the only thing that convinced him. And actually, in this way, Kamsa, he agreed not to kill his sister. Can you imagine that, just by hearing that the 8th child of your sister, you're going to be killed by him, and then you pull out a sword and you try and kill your sister? Who can think like that? Only an outrageous demon. Someone who has lost all good sense. So, to cut a long story short, the children of Vasudeva were delivered to Kamsa one after another, but Kamsa, he said, actually, I'm not afraid of this child. So don't worry, you can keep this child. But later, Narada Muni, he came and whispered in Kamsa's ear, actually, the demigods have all taken birth in Vrindavan and in the Bhoja and Yadu dynasties, which means that any time the Supreme Lord himself is going to appear. So actually it could be any of the children of Devaki and Vasudeva that are going to kill you. So Kamsa, he imprisoned Devaki and Vasudeva, and when each child was born of them in the prison, Kamsa, he was such a merciless personality that he would take the newborn baby and bash their brains out. This was Kamsa, such a nonsense demon. So anyway, so many demons were sent to kill Krishna in Vrindavan, but hey, Krishna is just a little boy, and he killed all the demons very nicely. And Kamsa, he became very worried. So he had one servant who was actually a great devotee of Krishna called Akrura, and he sent Akrura to go to Vrindavan to entice Krishna to come and have a wrestling match with giant wrestlers, Chanura, Mushtika. But of course, you can read all these pastimes in the Krishna book and find out this point. But Krishna, he left Vrindavan to go to Mathura. And when Krishna left Vrindavan, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan were so unhappy that Krishna has left Vrindavan. And they were simply crying and crying and crying in separation from Krishna. So Krishna, he lived in Mathura and then he transferred to Dwarka. And he lived then not as a cowherd boy, but as a royal prince. And he was enjoying life and he had so many queens. How many queens did Krishna have? 16,108 queens. Don't try this at home. Struggle enough to maintain one wife, is it not? Shh, don't laugh. So, anyway, one day, on the occasion of a solar eclipse, the inhabitants of Dwarka and Krishna, they all came to this special place, Kurukshetra, to observe a very nice performance of sacrifice. Because if you go to the holy place, some sacrifice should be performed. In this age, the only sacrifice that counts, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, kalo nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatiranyata. In this age of Kali, this quarrelsome age, you only look at the news and you see how all the world is quarreling. You only look in the newspapers or you walk in the city centre and you see it's getting more and more dodgy. But actually, the only sacrifice that is recommended is Harinama, 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 eva kevalam. There's no alternative in this age, because who has got all the tons of grains and ghee to perform sacrifice? Where are the qualified Brahmins who can properly chant all the Vedic mantras so that the sacrifices are successful? But in this age, the recommended sacrifice is simply Harinama, 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 chanting the holy names of Krishna. Very simple. Try this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Was that hard? It's out there on the wall. Very simple, and it's easy to learn. So anyway, all the inhabitants of Dwarka, except a few who stayed behind to protect the city, they came to Kurukshetra to observe a special sacrifice and perform austerities and bathe in the holy waters in the lakes created by Parashuram. That's another story. And the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they took the opportunity to also come to Kurukshetra so that they could see Krishna and meet with Krishna again after so many years of separation and crying for Krishna. So the meeting of the inhabitants of Vrindavan and the inhabitants of Dwarka was a very special, heartfelt meeting. They were so happy to meet each other after so many years of separation. But especially the damsels of Braja, the cowherd girls, the gopis of Vrindavan, headed by Srimati Radharani, they wanted to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. But Srimati Radharani is expressing very piteously that, my dear Krishna, we know you as a cowherd boy, but here you are as a royal prince, and there are so many soldiers and infantry and chariots and elephants and horses. This isn't how we want to be with you. We want you back. Please come and place your lotus feet back in Vrindavan. Please place your lotus feet in our hearts, and so we can actually again enjoy wonderful pastimes with you. Please come home to Vrindavan. And so this Rathayatra festival, this is actually the meaning, is the devotees are taking the Lord of the universe, Krishna, back to Vrindavan on his chariot. And so the very feeling festival is pulling the Lord on his chariot back to Vrindavan, back into our hearts. It's a very special festival. And this is actually something very, very joyful. This Rathayatra festival is meant to be celebrated and worshipped by everyone, because Jagannath means he is the Nath, he's the Lord of the whole Jagat. He appears in Puri. There's more to this story, but I don't want to go on too long, because we're still going to have a Rathayatra festival here. But actually it's very nice, because by pulling Lord Jagannath on his chariot, we're actually pulling him back into our hearts, taking him back to Vrindavan. So as Srila Prabhupada explained, this Rathayatra is a very feelings festival. Now how did it happen that this Rathayatra came to the Western countries? Srila Prabhupada, he brought Krishna consciousness to the Western countries. That is a fact. And he first of all went to America. And as I explained earlier, Prabhupada, his mission, he said, I accompanied Srimad Bhagavatam to the West. But he had some early disciples who became very strong devotees in Prabhupada's association. And one of them, Malati, she, one day in a convenience store, she found these little small statues. And somehow or other she acquired one of these. People come from a difficult background. And so somehow or other she found one of these and took it to see Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, when he saw this small little carving, he immediately offered his obeisances and fell flat and said, oh, very nice, very nice. Malati was shocked. But Prabhupada asked, are there any more of these? And she said, yeah, there's a whole basket full of them. But no, any other forms? So Malati, she went back and somehow or other, as well as the form of Jagannath, she also got Baladev and Subhadra. And Prabhupada asked her husband, Shamsundar, that this is very nice. Could you carve big forms of these? And Shamsundar, who was actually an expert sculptor himself, yeah, I could do that. And so he carved the forms of Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, and there in San Francisco, in 1967, they had the first beginnings of a Rathayatra festival. Now they didn't have a very fabulous cart because they really didn't know much about Jagannath at all, or even about how to worship the Lord, because Prabhupada started off from ground zero where nobody knew anything about Krishna consciousness. But the devotees, they learned to worship Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and they were gradually learning how to make nice clothes and outfits for the deities. And then they had a Rathayatra. And the chariot was actually a flatbed truck with Jagannath pointing one way and Balaram the other way and Subhadra the other way. This was the first Rathayatra in 1967 in San Francisco. And things started to move from there. And gradually they built a replica of the Jagannath Puri Rathayatra chariot. And then that started to spread. Shamsundar and Malati and two other families, they came also to London. And they built a big chariot. I won't tell you what happened when the wheels fell off. But anyway, they gradually got things back into shape, and they started having Rathayatra festival in London, actually, with a big 40-foot high chariot. Wow. And pulling Lord Jagannath with giant ropes, and hundreds of people came and joined in, and gradually the Rathayatra festival grew into a very big affair. And nowadays in London, they have 3 giant chariots, 40-foot high, pulled by hundreds and thousands of devotees. And it's a very ecstatic affair. And things have grown over the years. And all of a sudden, this year in the UK, there are now over 50 Rathayatra festivals being held all around the UK. I call it the Jagannath Me Too movement. Because everybody wants to do it now. So many temples everywhere, so many ISKCON temples and so many other Hindu temples. They're observing Rathayatra festival and experiencing. This is very, very joyful and very wonderful. They may not understand why or how, but somehow it's actually spreading like anything. This is Lord Chaitanya's program, that this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra will be spread to every town and village. Now this is an interesting thing. We may not understand how that's happening, but it's happening. And in fact, this year, all over the planet, as I understand it, there are actually over 1,000 Rathayatra festivals being held all over the world this summer. Pretty amazing, huh? Yes, I agree. So the whole principle is, even in some Muslim countries, like in Saudi Arabia, they hold the Rathayatra festival indoors because they don't get the permission to go outdoors. And we have Rathayatras throughout the summer in different places, and now there's competition for who gets which Saturday and which Sunday slot, so that which towns and cities can actually do it. And everybody's thinking, when are we going to get our chance to have Rathayatra and get permission from the council that we can go out on the streets and have a beautiful festival, preferably in the city centre, where lots and lots of other people are there and they can experience and get the mercy of the beautiful glance. Just like you can see Lord Jagannath and Balaram and Subhadra, they have very big eyes and they're glancing over everyone, giving unlimited mercy. And even if people stand up by the side or in front or behind the chariot, then actually, as we learn in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in the Nectar of Devotion, people don't take birth again in the material world. Now that's a big deal. And as we learn to appreciate the value of serving Lord Jagannath, then what happens is our hearts change and we start to waken our dormant love for Krishna. This is a very sublime, transcendental process. And actually, it's not simply a sentiment, it's a science. And if we understand the science of Krishna, then our vision changes. Just like you can see people cooking in the kitchen, and it's mystical. Especially some places they make chapatis, and they make a stack of chapatis, all perfectly the same size. It's mystical. How do you do that? But once you know the science of doing it, it's very straightforward. Just like Priyarani and so many devotees, they can make first-class prasadam. Now, I can't cook to save my life, but actually, if people know the science, it becomes very practical and very easy. And similarly, there's a science of Krishna. It's not simply a sentiment. You can't just go in the kitchen and put it all together and produce a fabulous meal, can you? You have to know what you're doing. And similarly, the science of Krishna. Once we understand the science of Krishna, we can take advantage of that science and do the most wonderful thing. We can actually revive our dormant love of Krishna. And how to understand this science? Srila Prabhupada so kindly presented so many literatures to help us understand the science of Krishna. Science of Krishna consciousness. And therefore it's our good fortune if we take advantage. What is the benefit? This is explained. Who here has read Bhagavad Gita? Please raise your hand if you've read Bhagavad Gita. Okay, please raise your hand if you haven't yet read Bhagavad Gita. There must be quite a few. All right. So Bhagavad Gita is a very important book because it's Krishna explaining to Arjuna how to actually make your life successful. And in chapter 4, called Transcendental Knowledge, in text 9, Krishna explains something very sublime and simple. Who knows this verse? Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvataha tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti sorjuna. What is the meaning? Because most of us don't speak Sanskrit to save our lives. But actually, Prabhupada is so kind that he's given us the original Sanskrit text. He's given us the word-for-word meaning. He's given us the transliteration so we can understand how it works. So even if we can't read Sanskrit, we can still pronounce the words And he's given us a clear translation of each and every verse. And he's given a beautiful purport to help us understand the meaning of this. It's all very transparent. Just like if you wear a pair of glasses, you can see things clearly. And if your eyesight is defective without your glasses, it's pretty hard to make sense of it all. So similarly, by hearing from the spiritual master, who's the transparent via media, we can see everything in clear perspective. And the meaning of that verse is so nice, that one who knows in truth about my appearance and activities, Krishna is saying his janma and his karma, his birth and activities in this world, then punarjanma naiti. He never takes birth again. No more birth, no more old age, no more disease, no more death. But Krishna is saying he comes to me, he comes to my abode, and he never takes birth again. How bad can that be? Anybody here want to die? I'm sorry if my lecture goes on, it makes you feel like suicide. But the whole principle is that we should become clear about our real business in human form of life. And these books, these literatures are so important that they help us understand everything very clearly. And we invite everyone, please, please read these literatures. Make your life successful. Don't let this human life be the pathway to again going back through the 8,400,000 species, because it's a long time then of getting back to the human form of life, which is a chance given especially so that we can understand our relationship with Krishna and go back home, back to Krishna. Is that all right? Very good. Thank you. Please read these books and get your mum and your dad to read them to you and explain them. Because actually we're meant to understand. And if we understand nicely, we can explain to others very nicely. Just like Prabhupada, he was able to come to the West, one gentleman from India, and make so many Westerners understand the importance and significance of the science of Krishna. So that they actually decided, yes, we're going to use this human form of life to become Krishna conscious. And we're not just going to practice it ourselves, we're going to help others understand it. Otherwise, how come so many millions of these literatures have been produced when one gentleman came from India with practically nothing and he spread Krishna consciousness all over the whole planet? Even in Russia, China, so many places. Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, so many Muslim countries. Pakistan even. How about that? Not just India. But it's the duty of everyone born from the land of India. This is how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has explained, that it's the duty of everyone who's come from the land of India, because why here people are so much interested in kindly coming and hearing about Krishna consciousness? Because it's in your blood, and because we're continuing from our previous lives. And Lord Chaitanya has got you all to take birth here so that you've got the chance to make Lord Chaitanya's prediction come in complete success, which is that the chanting of Hare Krishna will spread through every town and village. And it's the duty of all those from the land of India to make their lives perfect and make others' lives perfect. So please take this, that the principle is, you don't know why you've come and taken your lives here in the West. Because you've got your service to do. You've got to help others understand about Krishna. This is why you've come to the West. You may not have figured it out yet, but actually this is why you've all come to the Western countries, to help others understand about Krishna. So we're asking everyone, please read and study these literatures, discuss about Krishna, and then you can understand very nicely, and you can easily help others understand about Krishna, even if they are Doryos. How about that? Ignorant Westerners. Because actually, you know, it's much easier to teach someone who doesn't think they know these things already. I'll give you an example. Have you ever tried to play a musical instrument? What happens is, in Vienna, in Austria, there's a special school called the Vienna School of Music. And if you want to play the piano nicely, you can go there to this very famous Vienna School of Music, and the first question they ask you is, do you know how to play the piano? And if you say no, then the fee is $200. But if you say yes, I know how to play the piano, the fee is $500, because it's a damn sight harder to teach you if you think you know these things already. But if you don't know, then it's actually much easier to learn. And this is why Prabhupada was so successful in the Western countries, because people could very easily take up Krishna consciousness. And then when Prabhupada took the Westerners back to India, people started seeing, yes, actually, first of all, they thought they're CIA, but then Prabhupada explained, oh no, the CIA, they're chanting 16 rounds on their beads. They're following 4 regulative principles. No more meat eating, gambling, intoxication, illicit sex. This is very good. So people got the idea that actually these people are serious. So let us try to take advantage of this Krishna consciousness, make this human form of life successful, bring Lord Jagannath, bring the Lord back into our hearts and lives, and become very happy. And make others happy also. Real happiness, love of Krishna. So I thank you very much for kindly, patiently listening, and hopefully not falling asleep. And if anybody has a question, we can take 1 or 2 questions quickly before we have a Rathayatra festival. Anybody got any questions or comments? Yes. Yes. You know, when the inhabitants of Vrindavan came to came to Kurukshetra to meet up with the Lord, it was a very special thing. But in Dwarka, they could understand, back in Dwarka, they could understand that actually Krishna, he's wanting very much to go back to Vrindavan. He's feeling the separation of the devotees in Vrindavan. And they could understand, because even the queens of Krishna, now please don't try this at home, but the queens of Krishna, when they were in bed with their husbands, they would find that their husband, Krishna, he was in his sleep, he's uttering the holy name of Srimati Radharani. Don't try this at home. And they could understand that actually in Krishna's heart, he's always meditating and thinking of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Even he's in Dwarka as the king. So they wanted to know about the pastimes in Vrindavan. And in Dwarka, the only person who was there who was witnessing the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan was Rohini Devi, another wife of Vasudeva, who was actually the mother of Balaram. So they requested Rohini Devi, please, would you tell us about the pastimes in Vrindavan? And Rohini, she said, well, I could tell you, But it would be really embarrassing to speak these things about Krishna and Balaram in their presence. So they said, all right, well, we'll arrange a venue and we'll lock the doors, and then Krishna and Balaram can't come in, and then you can tell us all about Krishna and Balaram and their Braj Leela, their pastimes in Vrindavan. So they had this nice session. All the residents of Dwarka, they were listening very carefully to the pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan, Braj Leela, and the doors were locked. And everybody was becoming very ecstatic, hearing about Krishna and Balaram's pastimes in Vrindavan. But you know, Krishna, he knows a thing or two. And he and Balaram and his sister Subhadra, they said, they're actually speaking Braj Leela Katha. We want to go and hear this. This is so ecstatic, because actually Krishna enjoys these Vrindavan pastimes so much. So they came, and everybody was so absorbed, they didn't notice that somehow Krishna and Balaram and Subhadra were in the doorway listening to Braj Leela Katha. And Krishna and Balaram and Subhadra became so ecstatic that actually their bodies started to transform. Krishna's arms shrunk into his body, and his face became huge, and his eyes and his smile became so big, and his limbs shrunk into his body, and he became paralyzed like a piece of wood, listening to Braj Leela Katha. And a similar thing happened to Lord Balaram. And Subhadra, her arms also shrunk into her body. And the three of them were standing there in the doorway in completely transformed ecstasy, listening to their own pastimes in Vrindavan. But you know, Narada Muni, he was also there. And Narada Muni, when he saw these forms, he became ecstatic. And he was so amazed at seeing these transformations of Krishna and Balaram and Subhadra in ecstatic love, performing their Leela and changing their forms in these extraordinary, blissful ways. Narada Muni, he started jumping in the air and dancing and screaming, saying, I've seen them! I've seen them! And hearing this, Krishna and Balaram became a little shocked, and they resumed their original forms. And Narada Muni said, it's too late, I've seen them! I've seen them! And Krishna and Balaram, they were very much pleased with Narada Muni. And Narada Muni requested Lord Krishna, he said, please, my dear Lord, please give me a benediction. And Krishna, he said, yes, please tell me, what is it you want? I shall give you what you desire. And Narada Muni, he requested that, my dear Lord, please, these forms that I have seen, please arrange that these forms may remain in this world, so that everyone in this world can also see these beautiful forms of yours that I have witnessed. So Krishna, he said, yes, there is a place just south of the Indranila hill and just north of the southern shore. There is a place where I reside in these forms eternally. And even at the time of the devastation of the universe, this place and these forms remain. And that place is known as Purushottam Kshetra, otherwise known as Jagannath Puri. And there these forms eternally reside. And now they've come to the West, ready for everyone to take advantage of their beautiful forms. So this is how they got to have such big eyes. Is that all right, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his unlimited merciful pastimes ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So now we should have a Rathayatra. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I think are we all ready for Rathayatra? Yeah, so today is Children's Rathayatra, but we were all children some part of our life. So it's not that only children are allowed, even you can, the grown-ups, which were once children some time back, we can also pull the Rath card. But let's give the children the first chance. At the end, we can pull the Lord's Rath card. So now we'll start the Rathayatra. Puji, would you like to lead us in the kirtan, or we'll manage the Rath card?
Okay. Can I explain how we're going to do this? Okay, so of course in the room there are little children and there are medium-sized children and big children. So we're all going to try and do this, but first of all we're going to give the kids a chance. And we've got these nice ropes here. Now these ropes we have are probably a bit too long to be able to manage getting around the room. So we're going to just put these in half. Now,
those who have got the offerings, fruits and all, they can bring forward, you can announce.
okay. We've actually got a nice chance. If anybody wants to bring some fruits and flowers and offerings for Lord Jagannath, now's a great time to come and offer them to their lordships. Can I suggest we put everything on these plates here because they won't fit on the chariot? You can leave the...
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, I need to be able to guide and steer the chariot. So we'll sing while we're doing this. Okay. Hare Krishna. So, what we can do is if the children would like to take the ropes, we need someone responsible adult at the front of the ropes. On each rope, we need four responsible persons. One? Okay, so the idea is we have to make sure that the chariot doesn't move too fast, and we need another responsible person here at the back. Please, if you come on the outside of the ropes. And the idea of your job over here is to make sure no children get squished. Is that all right? No squished children. And then we've got another rope, so we want another responsible person at the front here. Okay.
Children can go in the front.
No, I'll be at the back because I'm going to
front.
steer the chariot. And that's it. And somewhere we have a braking system which doubles up as a steering arm. And then we can have Hare Krishna Kirtan. Ready? So let's take Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, and Srila Prabhupada and Gaur Nitai on a transcendental journey of Rathayatra around the temple room. Nice and gently, nice and slowly. Ready? Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Especially keep the ropes tight. Okay, we're going round here. We're going this way. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Keep going. Can we get more children and less adults on this side? Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nice and gently. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Careful, don't pull too hard. Don't pull too hard. Please, don't pull too hard. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Slow down. Come forwards. Let's go. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jagannath! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Don't pull sideways. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jagannath! Jai Baladev! Jai Subhadra! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Wait. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Can I suggest here that now, if anybody hasn't yet had a chance to pull the ropes, that we switch over, and some of the devotees who haven't had a chance to pull the ropes, now's your opportunity. Come and check it out. Please come and pull Lord Jagannath on his chariot. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jagannath! Haribo! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please everybody chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Jagannath Rathayatra Festival, ISKCON, Stoke-on-Trent 2026 ki jai. Shri Rathayatra Festival on the streets of Stoke-on-Trent 2027 ki jai. Hare Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Haribol. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So please, if you like, you come and take a close darshan of Lord Jagannath. You're very, very welcome. Thank you. Haribol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astottara Satashishimad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Haribol. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swam Kinamani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Puchani Nevishesha Sunyavadi Pastyachadesha. And hopefully for 2027 we'll have a much bigger chariot available for everybody to pull as well. And still the children's chariot too. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please everyone take your seat. We'll have ushering prayers and then we will have Prasadam. Hare Krishna. Please take your seat. Yeah. Ushering prayers. Come, sit here.
Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Dahine. Hiranyakashi Puraksha. Nishilatangana Kalaye. Eto Nasimho Parato Nasimho. Yata Yata Nimeto Nasimha. Bahe Nasimho Ridaye Nasimho. Naras Kamadim Shamonam Kapade. Nam Kapade. Tavakara Kamala Vare Nakam Adbhuta Shringa. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa Keshavatreeta Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Keshavatreeta Narahari Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Narasimhadev, Jaya Narasimhadev, Jaya Narasimhadev, Jaya Narasimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Jaya Narasimhadev ki, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki.
Yeah.
Jai Gaur Tribhangananda.
Hare Hare Bol. Mahaprasade Govinde. Namo Brahmane Vaishnave. Sarva Punyavatam Rajan. Vishwasana Vichayate. Sarirara Vidyajal. Jarindriye Tahekal. Jive Fele Vishesagare. Taramajivayati. Lobo Maisuturmati. Take Cheta Katin Samsare. Krishna Barodaya Mai. Korbai Jiva Jai. Swaprasadam Adhilo Bai. Saya Naam Rita Pao. Radha Krishna Guna Gao. Prema Dako Shri Chaitanya Tai. Jani Mai Jani Tai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara. Shivasadi Gaura Bhattarinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mahaprasad ki.
Short dance. Oh, surprise. Oh, okay. We'll all dance.
We all want to dance, everyone, all the kids. We all want to do a short dance.
So we're going to do something called a follow along, which is you just stand up and you copy, in this instance you'll copy me, and it is a song that's glorifying Lord Jagannath. Are we all up for that?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody stand up. Let's go. Okay.
You might find it easier with this one.
Yeah, that's true. It's so yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, wonderful. Kids, can you come to the front? Because you're going to show the biggies how it's done, okay?
All children, come in front. All children.
Everyone else, you need to have your hands free. Everyone's going to do this. So, to start off with, we're going to take our right foot and put it to the side. So, take your right foot, put it to the side, and then you're going to fold your left foot behind, okay? So you're just going side, behind, and side, behind, like that. Great. So we know this step, Srila Prabhupada taught us, but we're just adding a little bit of a flair where we put the foot behind. So you get a bit of a twist in the upper body, okay? 5, 6, everybody, here we go. And side, behind, side. Oh, perfect. Wonderful. Okay, then we're going to get our Jagannath hands out. So you can be like, this is Lord Jagannath and Lord Baladev. So you're going to go Jagannath, Jagannath, Jaganan. Jaganan means he's got big, big, beautiful eyes, okay? You can even do this if you like. The second time we'll do this. So he's blessing everyone with his weapons. Jagannath, Jagannath. Again, big eyes. Big, wonderful. Then we say that he resides in Nilachala, right? Nilachal Valley. So here, I'm going to point, we'll go around ourselves in a circle, okay? So you're going to go Nilachal Valley, like that, okay? So you're going round and round in a circle, 2 hands coming up all the way. Here we go, to this side, and go Nilachal Valley. Then you're going to say to Lord Jagannath, if you don't take care of us, if we don't surrender to you, who will? Yes? So then we're going to say, Tu na sambhale, and then put a hand on our heart. Hame ko na sambhale. Easy peasy? Okay, let's go from the top. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, and side, until the music kicks in. And we're going to go Jagannath, Jagannath, Jaganan. Again. Jagannath, Jagannath, Jaganan. Go round in a circle. Nilachal Valley, tu na sambhale, to hame back to your place. Okay, should we do it with the music? Brilliant. Be practicing while we get the music on.
Jagannath, Jagannath.
Okay, here we go. Ready? It comes in straight away. Go. Here we go. And Jagannath, Jagannath. Round in a circle.
Leela chalvare, tu na sambhale, to hame kaun sambhale. Hey, tu na sambhale, to hame kaun sambhale.
And again.
Ho meri naiya
Keep going.
hai, ab to tere hawale.
And show his big eyes. Again. Back to the same chorus.
Jagannath,
Jagannath,
Jagannath. इतनी संख्या में बैठे हो,
Wonderful.
एकादशी भी नहीं है,
And give
सोमवार
us a
भी
big
नहीं है,
round of
काय बात को करते हैं
applause.
आपको? अरे आज तो
Jai Jagannath! Okay, just a couple of announcements before we go for Prasadam. By the way, can we just say a big round of 3 huge Haribols for our guest speaker today, His Grace, Tribhangananda Prabhu! Thank you so much for coming. Prabhuji is a disciple of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. How lucky are we to have him? Yeah, you can take a quick seat if you need to. So we're so grateful that you took your time to come today and be with us.
They brought me. It's all their fault.
You're so right. It's definitely their arrangement. One really funny thing is, can you see what time it says on the clock? It says 11:45. The clock was working fine when we were getting Lord Jagannath's cart ready with Prabhuji, and I kept looking at the clock and it hit 11:45, and it just stayed at 11:45 forever. Because we were running late and we needed to get the cart decorated. So I think that was Lord Jagannath's arrangement that, he gave us more time to get the cart ready.
Bhagavad Gita, time I am.
There you go. Carlos, amazing, yeah. So yeah, we're so honored and so happy that you came. Thank you so much.
Thank you to them for kindly coming to bless us all. Jai Jagannath!
Jai Jagannath!
Jai Baladev!
Jai Baladev!
Jai Subhadra!
Jai Subhadra!
Jai Gaur! Hari Bol!
Hari Bol!
Srila
Wonderful.
Prabhupada
Okay, wonderful. So we have this Wednesday coming up. So it's Wednesday the 29th of July. How is whole of July gone? I do not know. But His Grace, another disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Vaisakhi Prabhu, is going to be joining us for kirtan. So Thursday, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. We usually have our Srimad Bhagavatam Sangha. So we're going to be having our special guest, His Grace Vaisakhi Prabhu, grace us for kirtan. He's known for kirtan singing, actually, around the world. He's very renowned. Some of you may have heard his kirtans as well. So please do come on Wednesday, this Wednesday coming, yes? So we'll have kirtan with him. There'll also be prasadam after that. Thank you so much for today's cook team, Jaiti, Mataji and her team, her mother. Thank you so much for cooking. We have also a Janmashtami meeting. So as you know, Janmashtami is coming up. Janmashtami ki! Woo! Every year we do a beautiful program, and it is what it is because we all come together and make it, try to, do our best and offer our best for the Lord and Srila Prabhupada's happiness. So, we are having a meeting on the 2nd of August. Okay, so if you would like to be involved, if you want to help with anything, for example, the prasadam, the cooking, the decorating, anything like that, you want to offer your time, your service, your heart, your smile, then please do come on Janmashtami meeting 2nd of August at 3 p.m. here in the temple. Okay, so make a mental note of that, make a note in your diaries, 3 p.m. here, 2nd of August in the temple. Is anybody here new today? And who's come for the first time? Amazing, fantastic. Anybody else? Wonderful, thank you so, so much for joining us today. Can I just quickly ask, how did you hear about today? Okay, somebody already attends and it was word of mouth. And yourself? Wonderful. Okay, sister and brother-in-law, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming. It's our pleasure to welcome you to the ISKCON Stoke family. At the shop, we have a gift waiting for you, so please remember to collect your gift before you go upstairs for prasadam. And let's have 3 loud hurbles for all the new people, for His Grace Tribhangananda Prabhu, and for, of course, our dear lordships, Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra. Haribo! 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 Wonderful. Are there any more announcements? Yes. This Saturday coming is the first Saturday of August. As you know, it is time for Mangal Arati. So we start at 5 a.m. And I have to say, when we come, I know it's hard, the mind gets in the way sometimes, you're tired, blah, blah, blah. But 5 a.m., it's the summertime, it's already sunrise outside, or the sun has already risen, so you may well come together, and I have to tell you, hand on heart, it's such a beautiful experience. If you've never been to Mangal Arati before, come along, come and see what it's about. We meet here at 5 a.m. this Saturday. We do some japa together, so the Hare Krishna Mahamantra japa. After that, we have Tulsi Puja. Then we have Arati, we have class, we have prasadam, yes? It's like the whole full works. 64 types of worship in one go. So do not miss that. Next Saturday, 5 a.m., Mangal Arati. Okay, prasadam waits you upstairs. Thank you so, so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare